Hey, what's up, guys? I'm gonna get started, and as people join in, we'll definitely reset the room and bring them in. But just wanted to say, welcome to the Black Podcast Association biweekly
Bi-weekly.
live chats, conversations that we do every Monday, every other Monday. Um, hey, Africa, what's up? How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Um, Today we wanted to. Unfortunately, Mimi's not going to be available to join us as co-host, but she's in our mind and spirits. But and I said it like that was something bad happened, but nothing bad happened. But I wanted to say thank you guys for joining us. We're winding down the 2021 year, and what we wanted to do with this conversation was just do a quick recap of our community members' years. Just a year in review of your podcast, any wins, gains, any wins, gains, losses, lessons learned, or anything like that. So we don't have a real subject, but would love to have you guys come up and join the conversation. Just raise your hand. I'll bring you up. Just talk about your review with your podcast. Maybe there was something you did that you've never done before. Maybe you reached some of your goals. Any of those things. Um, what I'll do is I'll start with myself, and then if you want to come up again, raise your hand. So for me, this was a year of a lot of ups and downs, but a lot of firsts. Um, Not necessarily for my podcast because I don't have one, but for my podcast business as well as the community that I've been growing on Facebook, the Black Podcasters Association. Just me being here on Clubhouse, doing this, having this conversation is a is a testament to that because about almost what around Africa was around May, April, May. Mimi reached out to me, asking if she could use this platform to maybe get something started because the club was just sitting there and we weren't doing anything with it. And I didn't have the courage to, or I really didn't understand and have the courage to um, get on Clubhouse. I'm not really a person who likes to be in the spotlight, so that was really big for me. And through just practice and just coming on and just being there supporting Mimi as she had conversations and was leading conversations on Clubhouse, it just became more and more comfortable for me. So that was a win for me, and that led to the encouragement from Africa and Mimi also for us to do a actual physical meetup, which is something else I've never done before. Organized that as well. So that was another first. Then, thanks to Africa, I wound up being encouraged to do the Afros in Audio uh, festival last month, and I actually did a presentation along with Darrell and another person I know, Tyrell, no relation, in which we talked about the science of sound. Now, my age in my entire life, I never thought I would be speaking at a conference or a festival or anything of that sort. So that is really big for me. Um, I was so nervous. I didn't know if I was gonna be good enough. I just went through the whole gambit of just self-doubt and imposter syndrome, and then, and then finally facing a fear of mine, which is public speaking, and realizing that it was really just all in my mind and I was hyping myself up. So that was big as well. And then now doing something like what I've been doing lately with the group is live streaming our spotlight series as well as having other conversations. That was never in my plan either, was to be in front of a camera, streaming or making videos or anything like that. So I could say I really, for my goals and for the things that I wanted to do for the sake of for the community I'm trying to build as well as my business, those are like really big goals that I feel like I've reached and achieved. And even though some of them weren't planned, they're still goals for me. So I would love to invite you guys up. Africa, since I have you up here, I don't know if you're available or not. You wanted to just
I'm
chime in?
here. I'm here. I was just listening. I felt like you kind of breezed right through your review pretty quickly.
Well, I mean, I don't like.
So just going to get into a little bit more detail, but like definitely proud of. We talked about doing a lot of this stuff like months ago. I feel like maybe in the summertime,
Yeah,
and a lot has progressed since then from doing a couple of, as Corey said, in-person meetups. Um, Obviously, with COVID and things, we were still trying to figure out. what that would look like, and felt that doing it virtually, would offer better options, especially since a lot of the members are so spread out. They're not only in New York City or the tri state area. And I think that actually worked out really well. The group is growing on Facebook a lot. I feel like Corey didn't mention a lot of the things he's been doing there as far as getting people more involved and, offering up resources. He briefly talked about the spotlight, which I think has been really great, just being able to highlight all of the different individuals in the group and talk about what they're doing, talk about their podcast. I've been seeing a lot of great stuff over the past week, where people are supporting each other by giving them reviews. I know specifically I saw Scorpion gave some reviews out to some of the members. So I feel like there's a lot of camaraderie being built in the group, which is super important. I think it's something that we really wanted. So it's great to have you here and even also see how Clubhouse has grown over the past few months too.
Yeah, I know I breezed through it, but I'm not big on talking about myself, so I don't know what to say. But thank you for that, Africa. And I mean, I'm gonna keep it real. I wouldn't have been able to do some of these things without you and Mimi really riding me and cracking jokes on me for the nonsense and excuses I was making. So, and I need to add to the list, I'm also now consider myself a Canva pro thanks to you guys as
I
well.
was about
So
to say, you forgot Canva.
yeah, so now I live on Canva. So but if you guys are out there in the audience, please definitely raise your hand. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear what your wins, your losses, what just what was for you, your podcast, what was 2021 for, and just recap, what you've done this year. So some of y'all I'm just gonna invite up here because I'm just not gonna have you lurking in the crowd. Scorpion, Demetrius, Darrell. I'm gonna shout y'all out. Actually, you know what? Um, okay. All right, there we go. Hey Raphael, how you doing, man? Thanks for being here. Uh I don't know how to pronounce your name. Correct me if I'm wrong. I am. Thanks for coming up. But you guys, Raphael, let's start with you. Let's talk about your year in podcasting. How's that been for you?
Hey everybody, how y'all doing this evening? Um, yeah, sorry, I was connecting my headset. Uh, what was the question? Again?
No, just wanted so basically tonight's about just recapping your year, your year in podcasting. So we just want to hear what your goals were. Did you achieve your goals? What were your wins? What were your successes for your podcast?
Oh yeah, I think I probably achieved some of my goals. I'm the type who uh, I struggle with celebrating myself. So it's something I'm working on. So before the year began, I had said I wanted to cross 10,000 downloads, but I wanted to do that earlier in the year. But I crossed by around November, towards the end of November. I actually forgot that I crossed it. And then I was so focused on the 10,000 downloads that I even forgot about my 3 year anniversary. I almost forgot about my 3 year anniversary and my 100th episode, but I caught that at the very last moment. So yeah, I was able to celebrate my milestone episode, and I made uh, but what I consider the biggest achievement for the year were the connections that I made. Earlier in the year, I connected with the African Podcast Festival and Cario Podcast Festival. And then towards the end of the year, I connected with you guys and joined the Black Podcasters Association. Um, when I began podcasting, I the person who led to me becoming me starting my podcast, um, he turned out to be the wrong person, stole equipment, but it was someone who I trusted 100%. So I just went with everything the person said. I didn't bother to do any research. I didn't bother to find communities. I just like he had been in the space according to his word. So I just trusted him. He was like I was a mentor to him in other aspects of life. And when he brought podcasting to me, I was like, yeah, I've heard of podcasting. Why? Yeah, I can trust you on this. And then it ended up being something that will end up in court and a whole big fight turnout will come out from it. So I got burned and I decided to go on my own and just go solely on my own. But I, by doing that, I kind of put myself in a place where it didn't occur to me that I had community out there. There were people out there that I could reach out to for help. And I started off not really talking to people. So that from me.
Okay.
Uh, so yeah, so I was. It would take me a while to start making connections that I felt comfortable with, that I felt cool with, and I think this year that has been like the biggest highlight because I thought my highlight for the year was going to be hitting 10,000 downloads, was going to be getting more subscribers and all that. Yes, I built a website and all that, but I've gained a lot more from joining Black Podcasters Association, from being on the African Podcasters group, and just making getting my own organic network going and getting to meet people who are in the same space, but we give each other positive energy. And instead of the person who brought me into the game that I was like so angry with and negative too, like was negative to me. It just changed 100, like a 360 turnaround, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I should have done from the beginning. So I'm happy about that, and I think that's the highlight for me.
Okay. And you can add that you're going to be on the spotlight this week to your list as well. So looking forward to that.
Oh, I don't want to drop spoilers.
All right. Well, thank you for that. That's an interesting story, and I'm glad that you reached some of your goals, and that sometimes things just work out for the better, right? You think you're going to be working with someone, and then you guys are going to be building together, and then things happen, and now you know those fears that you had are dispelled because you decided to just take it upon yourself and just make something happen. So that's I'm glad that worked out for you. Um, I guess up next, Jarrell. Hey, what's up, Jarrell? How you doing this evening?
Hey, hey. What's going on, everybody? Thank you, Corey and African, for holding the space. I'm sorry, I'm just coming in. But as far as this year and reflecting on it, I think words and things that come up for me is just about strategy. So even though this year I didn't produce as many episodes as I would have liked, I spent a lot of time in podcast festivals, groups, learning. Um, because unfortunately for me, I didn't have like a marketing or anything strategy before I started the podcast. So I was kind of learning as I went, which is fine because I don't feel like there was any like big losses. Everything is a learning curve. But now I kind of took some time to slow down and really build together my platform as far as how I wanted my audience to help support the show and pivoting on content. So it was just a lot of more back end work for me this year, setting myself up for launching in next year. And so that's I guess that's basically for me. As far as wins, I just attended, like I said, I really hadn't attended podcast festivals before. So I attended Afro Audio and I attended Podfest and I just learned a lot, collaborated with a couple of people. And I think that was important for me, just as far as helping with the mindset of my show. And yeah, so as far as projecting for next year, um, the word of the theme would definitely be monetization and more collaboration. So I'm excited. I'm really excited about next year. I'm excited about branching out more and not being afraid to reach out one and also just have more interviews and conversations with people on my platform. That's something I think I shied away from a lot this year, just kind of doing a lot of solo episodes when I really do enjoy conversations. So I'm excited about kind of pushing myself out of my comfort zone and just exploring the horizon.
That's great. Before you go, do you have any advice for anybody from what you've learned through your journey this year?
Mm, I think we talked about this in my spotlight, but I would definitely just tell people to take their time.
Mhm.
I think that's something that I'm not afraid of pausing in my creative workflow, so to speak, and not being hard on yourself if you need time to just kind of slow down, pull away, be inspired, things like that. Like there is no rush when it comes to this, even though it seems like, you can be overwhelmed with everyone else and think looking at how consistently people don't compare yourself to other people, because that can just set you up for feeling like you are failing or behind. So just isolate yourself from what everybody else is doing. Focus on your own paper. Take your time. Don't be afraid to pause, and so that you can produce quality work.
All right, thank you, Jarrell. Really appreciate it. And if you guys make sure you go to our YouTube page. It's the Black Podcasters Association on YouTube. You can check out Jarrell's spotlight. It was a really good conversation we had. So, and just so you got, if you're just joining us and you're not aware of it, the spotlight is a series we do, a live stream series we do where we interview our community members and just learn about who they are and their podcasts and stuff like that. So the replays, I think we're like on episode 12 or 13 tomorrow. So, and we do it bi-weekly. So make sure you guys check out our YouTube page. Go there, our YouTube channel, I should say. Go there, check out the spotlight, and check out all the different interviews from some of the members in our group. We also have some really great people coming up over the next couple of weeks as well. So definitely check that out. I'm just going to reset the room real quick for everybody who's just joining us, who came into the room recently. We're just talking about our 2021 and just doing a year in review of our podcast. So everyone's welcome to come up here and talk about, their wins, losses, lessons learned, or lessons not learned, or whatever it is that, help make your 2021 pivotal for you and your podcast. So with that said, I see Crystal here. Crystal, um, I'm just gonna go down the list as I see it. So Crystal's next.
Yeah. Hi, everyone.
Hey, how you doing?
Thanks uh, for letting me up here. It's nice to have a chance to talk to y'all. Um, if you haven't talked to me before, my name is Crystal. I'm the director of podcasts for Black Love Inc. If you've never heard of Black Love, we have a show on OWN, and we have a whole company that does a bunch of cool stuff, and I do all of their podcasts. So my main win this year for me was launching a whole podcast network, because that was a journey in itself, um, with a lot of ups and downs. I mean, trying to get 5 shows off at one time remotely is a challenge when your whole production team is just you. So that was definitely a learning experience. It's definitely a curve I didn't expect coming from other projects that I've worked on. But I mean, it was very rewarding. We've got a lot of really great content out there and a lot of shows that are doing really well. And then we went ahead and released 2 more podcasts later in the year, which was silly, but we're trying to keep ahead of the game. And I think one of the things I really enjoyed this year, surprisingly enough, was pulling in interns, because I like teaching people. I like teaching people what I know. I don't like siloing information. I think it's useless, really, in this space. I'm trying to make sure that we have a lot of Black faces in podcasting specifically, especially in non-talent positions, just because you don't see it. I've done it a quick minute, and you don't see a lot of it. So being able to kind of bring in the 2 classes of interns I've had and been able to mentor them has been an up. And just learning from this year, I'm gonna slow the roll on shows, or I thought I was, because now I'm thinking about it. We have 4 shows that are supposed to launch before March, so maybe not. But I definitely have a better production schedule going into 2022 and what we have planned. So that's kind of been the journey here for this year.
That's great. I think we're gonna have to tap into you one day and just have a conversation on building a network. Because I know for me, that's one of my goals in the new year is launching my own network. So and I know it's a lot of work, and it's really hard to find information on that, or at least uh, good information on it, on how to get it going, and some of the things that you need to learn. So I hope we can maybe one day sit down and talk, Crystal, about that. Um, what would you do you have any advice for anybody here, like, just for the upcoming new year?
Yeah, I mean, my main advice is always two things. One, make sure you take a break. Make sure you give yourself a chance to reset because that has always been a problem I've seen that burnout gets really real for everyone across the board, regardless of what you're doing in podcasting. And the second is have a contingency plan. I've had a lot of pregnant women on my shows this year and surprise month long trips to Africa that kind of came out of nowhere. So I like being ahead. I feel like if you're ahead, then you don't have to worry about whatever might come your way because there's always something coming your way and you don't know it's coming because that's why it's a surprise. But those would be probably my two main tips.
All right, thank you for that. Yeah, taking a break is definitely important. It's something I haven't learned to do yet, but I'm hoping I learn that for 2022. I really appreciate you coming up here and sharing your story with us. Nivlak, what's up, bro? How you doing?
What's going on, boss?
Did I pronounce that right?
You actually did, and I'm
All right.
I'm shocked.
All right.
Usually people take 3 times to get it correctly.
All right. Well, thanks, man. Tell us about your year in podcasting. How's that been for you?
This year has been two sides of the same coin. Started out the year pretty strong, releasing regular episodes. Then we started a company, so we kind of like it's multimedia, so we dialed back on the podcast so we could get everybody situated correctly. Currently we're gearing up to start releasing podcasts again, top of the year. So right now I'm in the middle of like I've never stopped podcasting, you could say, but more so just stop releasing the episodes so we could kind of get it right. And this group has actually been extremely helpful for that, whether it be the tips. You guys are in there every day with helpful tips, and I'm just trying to catch them all. And also, like the few connections I've been able to make thus far. I was actually, my wife and I were able to guest on somebody else's podcast that we met in this group. And that was our first time appearing as guests, whether together or individually on somebody else's podcast.
Oh, that's dope. Glad to hear that. That's part of the goal is to get you guys collaborating and working with each other, and learning from each other as well. So I really like that. I know you have your spotlight coming up soon too, right? In like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, it's supposed to be the 31st.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's the 31st. I don't have my calendar in front of me, so I can't confirm that, but I know it's coming up soon within the next 2 weeks. So I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to that too, because you've been a member in the group for a while now. So
yeah, no. It's when I first joined. I mean, like periodically I'll go to Facebook and then whatever I'm interested in at the time, I'll type in black and then that thing to see what's going on. And I'm so happy I did it at the time I did because you guys popped up and the community has been amazing, so amazing.
thank you. I really appreciate that. That really keeps me going. And you know what? I'll talk about that, and then we'll get to you, Leo. That was one of the things for me this year too. That was a challenge. Was There was a couple times where I was going to shut the group down because I just wasn't. One, it got overwhelming. Like Crystal was talking about, you need to take a break. Got real overwhelming for me. I wasn't getting some of the times I wasn't getting the response of or the return on investment for the time I was putting into the group, and I wasn't really gauging the response. Getting seeing if it was of value to people and anything like that, because there was a period where we weren't getting a lot of engagement, and I was just questioning whether the time and energy and the money I was putting into trying to get this going was worth it. It was also some personal stuff for me that was going on that just led to the stress of that. So, the fact that we're at where we're at now, and there's actually some big news that's going to be coming down the pipe real soon. Can't tell you guys now, but I'll tease you with it. But just the way we're ending the strong, ending the year strong as we are. It's just like I'm really proud of it, and I'm proud of the people who've been involved, who've been behind the scenes encouraging me, um, the people who've been helping me behind the scenes as well. So it's really big, and I'm looking forward to 2022 with the group as well. So what you said, Nivlat, is really definitely means a lot to me about what the group means to you. So thank you for that. And thank you to
Yep.
everybody else that's in the community as well, who've been here and who've been sticking it out through the ups and downs as well. So um, I'm going to bring up Leah, our 2 month contribution champion. Looking like it's going to be
Whoop, whoop.
another month if you guys will step your game up in the group. But
Hey.
hey Leah, what's up? Just let's talk about what how your year has been in podcasting.
Oh wow. Well, hey, how y'all doing tonight? My year was pretty good. I actually made a year back in March, so I was actually proud of myself. Because I honestly I didn't think I would actually be able to do. Knowing me, I'm the type of person, I have this wonderful idea and be like, I'm going to do it, and then I do like maybe do it one time and quit. I'm so proud of myself because like I didn't think I was even gonna make it to a year. I thought I was just gonna like if there's gonna be a few episodes and that's it. And I actually made it to a year, and I'm proud of myself for doing that. So, and I'm almost at like 20 episodes. By the end of the year, I'm at 20 episodes. But let's see what else. Joining this group was a very good thing for me. I'm glad I did because y'all are some incredible people, and I got my first interview. So that was exciting. Let's see what else.
I mean, you've learned a lot, right? Since you've been
Yes,
in the
I
group.
learned a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I did learn a lot.
All right.
What else?
Don't force it if if that's what you're
That's pretty
that's
much
the big
it.
thing
Yeah.
for you, then that's fine.
Yep.
This is
Yep.
just
That's
really about
pretty much
everybody.
it.
That's good. That's good. Well, I'm proud of you. And I was just while you were talking, I was looking at the top contributors. She's up at number 1, guys. So
Sorry, y'all.
listen,
I'll lay back.
I'm all about
I'll lay back for a
competition.
minute.
So let's see if somebody. We still got a couple of weeks. So let's see if anybody could overtake her. I'm watching the board. So. But we do appreciate having you in the group. You ask a lot of good questions, and the fact that
Thank you.
you've been contributing so much since you've been in the group is really a good thing too. So, and I think that also helps those people who may be nervous about asking questions and just be, I don't want to say watching in the shadows, but who maybe just be watching what the conversations going on in the group. I think that's also helpful to see you guys engaging and talking to each other. Building a rapport.
I was gonna
with each
say,
other.
even though my questions may be kind of like silly, but I'm glad you guys answer them anyway. But
I don't say
anyway,
that. I keep telling you don't say that stuff. Everybody's at
okay.
different spots, so at different levels.
Yeah.
So, and everybody learns differently. So, just
Mhm.
again, just ask your questions, and like everybody's been doing, they'll help you.
Yeah.
So, thank you for that. Anybody in the audience want to come up and talk about their wins or anything? I know some people are busy right now doing cooking and just dealing with life, but you guys are still welcome to come up. We still got a little bit of time before we end the call. If you guys want to talk about anything, or I guess we can just move this into like a Q&A type of thing as well. You're welcome to do that as well. But or maybe I know we were planning on doing this as a separate conversation, but maybe if you want to talk about some of your goals and some of the things that the milestones you want to achieve for the next year, please feel free to share that as well. So anyone?
I guess I can share.
Hold on real quick. We got G up here. My man GD
My bad.
Gerald up here. Let's talk because I met Gerald Gerald came to our first meetup, so I was real glad to have him there, and he's been doing his thing ever since. So
Alexa, quiet.
I'm sorry,
I thought he was a stream. I was like, what is going on?
Gerald, can you hear us?
He's a lecturer, dude. Yeah.
Gerald. All right, well we'll come back to him.
I think we lost him.
Oh, it's
Wait,
possible.
is that the guy who posts funny stuff?
I'm sorry, huh?
Is that the Gerald with
Yeah, it is.
funny-
Actually,
I'm
this
sorry.
for some of you guys, this is the first time interacting with each other outside of the group. So yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Leah to probably show me off my chocolate, but oh well.
Oh yeah, my bad. Sorry, it's coming.
Let me see if Gerald's back. I had the
Yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry.
no, not Gerald. Gerald. Let's see
Oh.
the New York accent's kicking in now. Gerald, you there, bro? All right. Well, I mean, does anybody have any other things they want to add to the conversation? Anything they want to talk about? Any thoughts? I know what was big for all of us this year, and I'm glad I got to see it live, and as well we got our own conversation about it, which was the Black Podcasters Listener Report. I think that was big for all of us this year because it just gave us more specific insight than the generic um, report that Edison Research puts out at the end of the year. Typically at the beginning of the year. So, and I think a lot of us learned a lot from that information that was put out. So, I think that was just a big win for all of us. I'm hoping that the next report is even more in detail and has even more data points that they start to examine when they do the conversations with people who are in our space. But I see we have some new people who entered the room. I'll just reset real quick. Thank you for joining us. We're just doing a recap of our podcast year, just talking about what goals we may have hit, any wins, losses, lessons learned, and stuff like that. So you're welcome to join us. Come up to the stage and talk about your year in review in regards to your podcast. Gerald, I keep seeing you coming in and out.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It was a struggle, but yeah, I'm here.
All right, so Leah, tell us what was a good win for you. How was your year in your podcast?
Well, my year started kind of late because I started my podcast back in August, kind of like late August. So, and I actually got quite a few episodes out there. I've been able to with my football podcast, my fantasy football podcast, and then my basketball podcast. So, actually about 35 for the fantasy football and 25 for the basketball. So I've been kind of busy, as you can see.
You said
But it's been good.
That's 35 episodes?
35 episodes.
For fantasy football?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So, because I recap every week what, all the games and so forth, and I give my little commentary and so forth. So it's been good. I've been getting good feedback. So it's been good. And with the basketball, I kind of changed the format a little bit. So I'm doing like a weekly review with that. And then adding the player spotlight that I'm doing. Last week I did Bob McAdoo. So I'll do something for the youngins. So I'll do Ray Allen this week since Steph Curry's about to break his record. So I'll do him this week.
Oh, I'll be tuning in for that.
I appreciate that.
So
yeah. So
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I mean, I know you said, in comparison to many other people who came up here, you said you started late. What was some lessons you learned from that?
To stay with it. It can be a little frustrating. And between I'm working 2 jobs and between life in general, you kind of got to juggle and make sure you have the time to, do your taping and so forth. And then I edit it as well. So, I have that as well. So, but just staying at it, that's the key thing. I think I only missed like 1 week, and that's when I went to Baltimore to the harbor. So, so I've been pretty consistent with it. So that's been good.
All right. Do you have any advice for anybody about out there that may be listening that from what you've learned so far?
Don't do 2 podcasts at the same time. But no, it's been good. It's just like I said, just if you're gonna do it, just keep at it. And I'm still learning as well. Like Leah said, I'm learning, how to network and the SEOs and all that kind of stuff. So I'm still a baby in this game. So.
All right. Well, thanks for coming up, bro, and thanks for sharing with us your what you've been going through this year, and look forward to seeing your podcast grow next year. So keep up the good work, man.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you for this platform here. I appreciate it. Sure, like everyone else does, especially the opportunity to spotlight the different podcasters and so forth. So I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, we got like the spotlight alumni up here right now. We got a couple people up here who are going to be on there or who did it already. So that's exciting. Hey, Lisa, what's up? Welcome to the conversation. Thank you for joining us. We're just going over our review of our year in podcasting. So whatever you would like to share, we're definitely listening.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, Corey, for the opportunity. My name is Lisa. I am the founder or convener of Black Women Stitch, which is the sewing group for Black Lives Matter. And I'm the host and producer of Stitch Please, which is our weekly audio podcast that centers Black women, girls, and femmes in sewing. And I was really excited to hear about these podcasts because I would love to have more Black podcasters working in the leisure space, the leisure hobby space. So I'm not sure if fantasy football is like leisure or a sport. I guess it's a sport. But I would really love to find more folks who are in the leisure genre because there's not that many of us. And so the podcast has done really well this year. I'm really proud of the work we've done, so much so that I was on here the other day. My organization is a nonprofit, Black Women Stitch is a nonprofit org. And she was like, you should do some kind of like year in review for your podcast just to kind of get more people to, just as a community meeting kind of thing. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to actually host a year in review of my podcast on the 30th of December, a 1 hour like Zoom session, like webinar type thing, where people who've been listening to the podcast or just want to talk with me about I just think sometimes we forget how much work we have done. I've been working on a website because, again, I don't have a very big budget, so I use a lot of volunteers. I've been working on a website for almost over a year, and all of the podcast episodes are in there. And we just crossed into, I'm happy to say, pretty much doubling our listenership. At the end of 2020, we had 100,000 downloads, and now we just crossed into 250,000. And so that feels really great to me as a niche. My niche is so small, Black women who sew. That's it. That is what I do. And there's a lot of elements of it, but it's not big. It's not like politics or like a lot of other more popular ideas. So I think we've had a very good year looking through and seeing all the episodes we've done. I've not missed a week since I started in 2019. So we had 52 episodes this year. And wow. I have learned a few things along the way, but I'm just grateful for this platform. I'm grateful. Anytime I see the words Black and podcaster together, I'm like, haha, my folks. And so I was glad to see this room. Thank you again for the opportunity to share. And I'm Lisa, and I will return the mic. Also, shout out to so many Afros and Audios peeps that I'm seeing here. And so I really love Afros and Audios and Scorpion, who hosts rooms so often. I see her in the audience and just wanted to give a shout out as well. Thank you.
Lisa, before you go, could you just maybe give some advice, just one piece of advice from what you've learned this year?
One piece of advice I learned this year is batch record. Batch recording is very helpful. I really love doing it. Just actually in the last 3 weeks, I've done about 12 interviews. And because the topics that I'm talking about are kind of like evergreen content about sewing techniques or people's platforms or whatever, I now have 3 months of content that I've been able to create in about 10 days. And so batch recording is my jammiest of jams. I love it. And so that's one thing I would recommend as a way to kind of to get ahead and to fill in any gaps and to I'm trying to make my life easier and make podcasting a fun feature of my life and not just a draining job like everything else I have. Like I have to love it in order to do it. And one way to love it more for me is to make it easier and to still have joy in it. And batch recording for me has been helpful to that. Oh, and one last thing, I decided to do a Wikipedia entry for my podcast. And that has been fun to get someone. I have a volunteer that I'm working with, and they're writing a Wikipedia entry. And I'm looking forward to putting it in Wikipedia and seeing like what happens, because it's just nice to see that your podcast is having an impact. And that was just a sign of that. So that was something new for this year. Thank you.
Welcome.
Oh, Lisa, I'm sorry. I just got a question about batch recording. I always wanted to try to do that, but I don't know how to do it. So maybe you could like teach me how to batch record episodes and stuff.
I think Jarrell's interested in them too. I saw their mic flashing, but all it is you have to set aside some time. And something I was doing last year for my writing was what they call pomodoros or time chunking. And so if I take out 20 minutes, it's like, okay, 20 minutes, the only thing I'm going to do in this 20 minutes, I'm not checking emails, I'm not thinking about nothing else but recording this episode. And then once that's done, it might take me 20 minutes to record the episode or 30 minutes to record the episode, and then that's done. But with interviews, it was much more difficult because I had to let make sure it can be tiring, right? I find the interviews much easier actually than solo episodes. My show alternates between solo episodes and interviews. The interviews were much easier. I found I had like really high energy, engaging in good conversation. So it wasn't too bad to do the 12 interviews in like 2 weeks or so. But the thing that I have struggled with lately is doing the solo episodes in a batch. And so I know for me, in order to be successful with that, I need to do two things. One, make an outline of the points I want to make, and then set my timer for 25 minutes where I get in front of the mic and do nothing else but that. Even if I sit there and stare at the microphone, that's 25 minutes that I've tried to do it. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. I don't know if that answers the question, Leah.
Yeah, it helps.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Lisa.
Yeah.
No, go, Gerald. You got it.
No, I was going to say that's actually an excellent idea. That would be perfect for my player spotlights. I can do like a batch of those. So thank you for that, Lisa.
Yeah, that's definitely. Sorry.
Lisa, too. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Raphael. You got it.
Yeah. I support Lisa too because I do batch recordings. I'm on a break right now, and I already have my first 3 episodes for next month down because I already recorded them. And if anyone wants to have 1 or 2 top guests who I've been trying to get for some time, so if they say they want to record, fine. If they don't want to, I don't really pursue them. I'm on a break until January 1st or 2nd week of January. Then I'll return back to interviewing. I do like at least 5 interviews a month. I hope to make it up to Lisa's level of productivity. Because 12, that's top notch right there. But but batch recording is why I'm able to. I've been able to be consistent with my number of episodes, and it's why I'm able to take breaks. Because if I wasn't doing batch recording, I think I would have been freaking out over finding a guest, what to put out. And so batch recording is like one of the best things I've ever happened to me.
Yeah, batch recording is definitely one of the things I suggest to clients and potential clients when I talk to them, because that's just helping you manage expectations as well as manage stress, because I know it can get really ridiculous as far as just wearing all the different hats that we wear, trying to make everything work properly. So thank you guys for all of that. I really appreciate it. Lisa, a big congratulations to you on the growth of your podcast. So I'm really happy to hear that basically you doubled what you've been doing over the past year. Is there anyone else who would like to come up and share their story for this year with their podcast? Just raise your hand. Okay. I think I'm gonna. I was planning on going till about 8 o'clock, but unless we have anything else we want to talk about, I'll cut it short. I really appreciate having everyone here. Thank you guys for joining us. The other thing too is we do this every bi-weekly. The next episode we're going to be doing, I believe, is on the 26th or the 27th, whatever Monday that is, or that week before of after Christmas is when we're going to be doing it. All right, we got one more speaker coming up. Clubhouse taking its time. Okay, what's going on? All right, I don't know. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry for this. Let's see if that works.
Gerald, that's also a good idea for you to batch record too. The players.
Hey, Dwayne, what's up, bro? How you doing?
That was my thoughts. Thank you.
Hey man, I was just browsing through, listening, and I thought I could share some inspiration. I started podcasting with this group with two people, and the topic was so interesting that it got some national attention. So much so that it's being broadcast on the Oxygen network, and it's about some murders that's happening in South Carolina.
I saw that. You do the Murtaugh. Oh my gosh,
Wow.
that's fantastic.
That's awesome.
That family is a hot mess. My goodness.
I need to check this out. It's on Oxygen.
It's on
my
Oxygen.
channel.
It premiered last night, and it's been running. It's going to run again tonight on Oxygen, probably at 8 to 10, and then from 10 to 12. But I just wanted to tell you all, by listening, you never know what's going to hit, because when the host contacted me about doing a podcast, they had no idea who would listen. Maybe family and friends might listen, right? But this thing just took a turn and just picked up national attention. So I'm thinking, all of you guys that have your podcast, just really stick to it. Just have your interesting topics. We try to put out 2 episodes a week, with solid content. We get professionals to come in and talk. So professional lawyers, bankers, people who are familiar with the area, things like that. So the podcast, seems a little bit credible, and it led to, listenership or downloads or whatever over, I think it's like 1.7 million now in listenership. And now the advertising money is running in. Well, when you hear it, you would hear the different advertisers that actually decide to advertise in the podcast because you have the audience that they want to target. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I just wanted to throw that there as I was listening, just to to some of the people, how they do their podcast and what they do and stuff like that. So I'm just here to give some motivation, man, because I had no idea this would get to this level.
All right, thank you, and congratulations on that success as well. That's big. And I was just looking at your engineering credits. You got some impressive engineering credits there too. So, from a fellow audio engineer to another. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone who's contributed to the conversation. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate you guys giving us your time this evening. Again, we do these talks bi-weekly. So the next one I believe is, I should have been looking at a calendar instead of reading people's credits, but I believe it's on the 27th. We're going to just be talking about our goals and just looking forward towards 2022. So please come join us. If you're not a member of the club, please definitely reach out. You can reach out to me, or you can go to the Black Podcasters Club here on Clubhouse. We also have our Facebook. We also have our Facebook community that some of you guys are members of. It's open, it's free. So come join us on there. It's the Black Podcasters Association as well. You can follow us on Twitter, Black Pod ASSOC. Stop laughing, Bethany. And then also on Instagram, the Black Podcasters Association. We've been doing the 24 days of Black Podcasters. If you follow our Instagram, you'll definitely see that we have an Advent calendar that releases a new podcaster from our community as well. So you can check that out. And you can also go to the to blackpodcastersassociation.com, sign up for our newsletter, and just to learn a little bit more about what we're doing. I really appreciate everybody who's contributed. Thank you guys for being members of the community. I look forward to it. And if I don't speak to you guys before then, definitely have a safe and happy holiday with if you celebrate it. Happy Kwanzaa as well if you celebrate that. And I look forward to speaking to you guys right before the new year. And one of the things I'm going to tell you guys, if you're not in the group, come join the group, because we're going to have some really big news coming down the pipe in the next week or two for the new year. And I definitely want everyone to join in that conversation that we're going to have and really ask questions and come learn about it. That's the most I could say right now, but it's going to be really, really big. And I want you guys to be a part of it. So again, thank you everyone for coming. Appreciate having you here, and have a good evening.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Thanks a lot. Good night.
Good night.